Today, we're going to talk about a tool that is, well, it's both incredibly simple and profoundly powerful. We're talking about a piece of technology with absolutely no batteries, no screen, and zero microchips that was the main calculating device for engineers and scientists for over 350 years. So yeah, let's dive into the amazing story of the slide rule. I mean, it's a great question, right? We completely take for granted the supercomputer we all carry around in our pockets. But how did we get here? How did we manage to build skyscrapers, fight world wars, and even put a man on the moon using just, well, this? It all started with a really fundamental problem. Okay, so let's set the scene. It's the early 1600s. The scientific revolution is in full swing. You've got astronomy, navigation, engineering, all these fields are just exploding with new ideas, but they were all totally bottlenecked by the slow, painful process of doing math by hand. This quote from the Scottish mathematician John Napier just perfectly captures the frustration of the time. I mean, can you imagine trying to calculate a planet's orbit or the trajectory of a cannonball by hand? A single tiny mistake could throw the whole thing off, and these calculations were just filled with what he called slippery errors. So you've got this massive gap opening up. On one side, you have the slow, error-prone reality of doing math with a quill and paper. And on the other, you have the growing demands of science and exploration, which needed faster, more accurate calculations. Something had to give. And you know, it wasn't for a lack of trying. People had tools, sure, but they were pretty limited. The abacus? Great for adding and subtracting, but totally useless for the kind of complex math scientists needed. Other inventions were just too clunky and slow for any practical, on-the-go kind of work. The world desperately needed a revolutionary solution. And that solution, it didn't come in the form of a better machine. It came from a brilliant mathematical idea. It was basically the conceptual software that was going to power the next 350 years of hardware innovation. This, right here, is the magic key. John Napier, the same guy who was complaining about how tedious multiplication was, he figured out a way to bypass it completely. With logarithms, the absolute nightmare of multiplying two gigantic numbers becomes the simple task of just adding two smaller ones. This was a conceptual breakthrough of epic proportions. So if logarithms were the software, you could say that William Oughtred built the very first piece of hardware to run it. By putting two of these logarithmic rulers right next to each other, he turned an abstract math concept into a physical tool. He literally made math something you could do with your hands. And this just shows how elegant it was. To multiply 3.5 by 2, you're not really thinking about numbers. You're just aligning physical distances. You slide the 1 to line up with 3.5, you look for the 2 on that same sliding scale, and bam, the answer, 7, is just sitting there right below it. No pen, no paper, just a quick, satisfying slide. But here's a really fascinating twist in the story. Despite its genius, the slide rule didn't actually take off for over 200 years. Oughtred got into this nasty public fight over who really invented it, and the first designs were kind of hard to use. It wasn't until 1850, when a guy named Amédée Mannheim added that sliding cursor we all recognize today, that the tool finally went mainstream. And once it went mainstream, wow, it changed everything. For the next century, the slide rule wasn't just a tool, it was basically the engine of progress. Just look at this list. I mean, the Golden Gate Bridge, the Saturn V rocket that took us to the moon, the F-16 fighter jet, all designed with calculations done on a slide rule. The scientists working on the Manhattan Project used them. Even Einstein reportedly used one for the math behind his theory of relativity. This simple analog device is literally built into the foundations of our modern world. It became a total cultural icon. Engineering students would wear their slide rules in these leather holsters on their belts, kind of like a craftsman carries a hammer. It was a badge of honor, a sign that you were part of this select group of people who were building the future. But, you know, like all technologies, its reign had to come to an end. And the end came really fast with the quiet hum of an electronic circuit. When Hewlett-Packard released the first pocket scientific calculator back in '72, their marketing was not subtle. As you can see right here in their ad for the HP 35, their whole goal was to replace the old guard. The message was crystal clear: the king is dead, long live the king. And just 3 years later, it was basically over. In 1975, Kiefel and Esser, one of the most famous slide rule manufacturers in the world, just shut down their production line. After making something like 40 million slide rules, the era had officially come to a close. But the story doesn't quite end there. It ends with this beautiful, poignant piece of irony. The engineers who designed the super complex circuits for the very first electronic calculators, they did all their calculations on slide rules. They were effectively using the analog computer to make itself obsolete. You could say it was the slide rule's final and maybe its greatest calculation. So, that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Every era has its indispensable tool, right? The thing that powers its innovation. For 350 years, it was the slide rule. So what is it for us today? And maybe more importantly, what tool are we using right now to design its replacement?